Hi everyone. We're going to go ahead. We're going to talk about some variables, some constants, and assigning variables today. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get right back into Xcode here. So once again, locate Xcode on your computer. If you have it on the desktop, that is great. Or if need be, go to your Finder and take a look at your applications and locate Xcode there, right in the X's. So today we're going to open up a playground. So when you get to our main menu, we're going to go ahead and click on Get Started with a Playground. We're going to call this variable practice. Leave the platform as iOS. We're going to go ahead and click on Next. Again, we can save to the desktop for now. That's fine. Go ahead and click on Create. We get a new file type here. So we're not going to work with that interface builder like we did last time. We're going to work with this. This is something new to Swift here, is this idea of a playground. So before we do anything, though, we're going to just set our view up here. So let's go to View, Assistant Editor, and let's click on Show Assistant Editor there. Alright, so that's going to just give us a console output. And then we just want to size up our views here a little bit. Actually, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead full size on this here. So that way we can see it all. So first things first, let's go ahead and delete out the existing information in there. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to start with variables. So I just create a comment there just to label this. So let's talk about what a variable is. So a variable is basically a way to store information. All right, and a variable is something that you can change and update. It's something we'll use quite a bit, excuse me. So any variable is going to start with the keyword var. So var for variable. So once we've identified, we're telling Swift, hey, we're going to make a variable. You need to come up with a name with it. So we're going to go ahead and have a variable called my name. Oh, excuse my typing there. All right, so what this is you'll notice we always start lowercase my and then capital N for name. That's called camel casing, and something that is a must. So everything we do in this class, we will follow that camel casing. So always lowercase to start, and the second word and third word and so on always start with a capital. After that, so we've named the variable my name. We got to tell Swift what type is this variable. So we're going to put a colon. And there's many types out there which we'll get to in a little bit, but we're going to just create a variable of a string. So a string is basically a word that we're going to use in our code. So we've now said that we've created a variable called my name of type string. Now we need to assign it to what string. So what do we want my name to be equal to, or what do we want to assign it to? Alright, so my name, Mr. Snyder, is I'm going to go ahead and type that, and you'll notice that I put that in quotes. Anytime you use a string, it has to be in those quotations. So you've just created your first variable called my name of type string, and we assigned it to Mr. Snyder. So what that means is anytime we use my name, it is now Mr. Snyder. So my name and Mr. Snyder are the same thing. So if we wanted to call the variable, I'll leave a quote or a comment for you. So let's say later in the code we wanted to use my name for something. We could start typing my name, and you'll notice that it starts, an autocomplete comes up. Great thing to have here. So all we need to do is hit on enter, and we've called my name, and you'll notice over here it is equal to Mr. Snyder. Alright, so that's how you create a variable. So now a variable is something I could change. So if I wanted to update my name to something else, I could do that. I could call the variable my name, and then I could assign this to something else. So I could assign this to, if I just wanted to refer to me by my first name, I could say my name is equal to Chris. Alright, so now when I call the variable my name, you'll notice it outputs Chris here over in our preview. Okay, so that's a variable, and you can change it. So again, I created a variable called my name of type string equal to Mr. Snyder, and a string being in quotations there. Okay, so that's creating a variable. The other kind of thing we might like to use is something called a constant. All right, so something that's not going to change. Similar, but things that there's one key difference, and that's the initial keyword, and that's let. So let signifies a constant. So if we were going to set let, let's go ahead and say my location. All right, so again, that's the name of it. So same kind of setup, let. I'm creating a constant called my location, and I'm going to create this to a type of string. And then I need to assign my location to a value, and we'll call this Lake Villa. Okay, so I've created a constant called my location, and I've typed string, and I've assigned it to the value of Lake Villa. So again, if I call my location, again, I'm going to let autocomplete happen there, so I don't have to type it all. And Lake Villa is going to be called there. So now here's the difference. Up above, we were able to reassign my name from Mr. Snyder to Chris. So if we wanted to do that with this constant, let's take a look at what happens. So if I go my location, you know what, I decided I went somewhere, I'm in a new spot, and I go Antioch. All right, Swift's not going to like that, and we're going to get a message. Uh-oh, we got this red underline, red circle here. We got a problem. So if I click on that, it's going to tell me what the problem is. It's going to say, cannot assign to let value my location, because we cannot change this because it's a constant. Okay, so let means it can't change. You know, so my location will always be Lake Villa unless we go back and update that to var. So that's how a variable and a constant are going to differ. Variables you can change. Constants you are not able to change. Okay, so very important to just be familiar with that. But again, they follow the same format in terms of the keyword. So let var or let the name. So either the name of the variable or the constant. Camel casing. So again, my name, the name is capitalized. My location is capitalized. The type again signified by the colon. And then so this is a string, and that's Mr. Snyder. Okay, so those are some basics of just creating variables. Now we created two variables of string type. We've got some other types that we can work with here, so let's take a look at those there. Alright, so let's start off by talking about, I'll just put this as ints. Alright, so if we want to use some numbers in our code here, so let's create a variable called var myAge. Alright, we're going to create this of type int. Alright, so now age is something that's going to change, so right now I'll give you my age here, and we'll var int my age 36. Alright, so now again that is a number that we told Swift it's going to be an integer, and it says 36. Again, I can call that at any point, my age, and it's going to go ahead and it's going to be a 36. Alright, so that's an int. Alright, another thing we can use, we've already talked about strings, is we've got something called bool. Alright, so a bool is a way to test logic. It's basically a way of saying yes or no, true or false here. So we could say var school is fun. And we're going to create this as a bool. And then at this point, the only thing we can put, it's either true or false. We can't say anything else here. So of course, this answer is going to be true. And we've set that value to true here. It's a way that we could test this, and you could use that in your code, to test out logic here. But it's either true or false here. Okay, so again, when I call school is fun, again, it's coming out the true there, and then you could use that to test conditions down the line here. Another type here, so we've got ints, we've got bools, and we've got strings. All right, as we've got types, we've got doubles. All right, so that's basically, we're starting to use decimals here. So var, we could say gas prices. I'm just kind of winging it right there, and we can go double. And same thing, so now if we're saying gas is $3.56, we could use that. Now again, this would not work as an int because we've got the decimal here. Okay, similar to double, we've got floats. All right, so the same idea. They just go to it's just a matter of number of decimal points that you could work with. So we go var milk prices. Same thing. We can explicitly tell Xcode that we want this to be a float. And we could set that to 4.5. Again, that's expensive milk, but just showing you how that works there. So those are the 5 types that we are looking at. You've got floats, doubles, bool, ints, and then you've got strings that we created up here. One last thing I want to show you on here is we've explicitly told Swift here that what these variables are going to be called. There's also a concept called of inferred. And Swift's pretty smart here, so we could actually, you can do it one of two ways here. So let's say I wanted to create a variable called my school. So I could go var my school. I could set that equal to lakes. So now here, it still has picked up that this is a string because it inferred from what we assigned my school to lakes. Since it has the quotations, it picked that up. Okay, so again, I didn't have to type in and cast it as a string. All right, because Swift was able to infer that. Same thing can happen with var number of cars equals to 2. All right, again, it picked up that 2 is going to be, it's an int. So it inferred from what I typed in my code here the value. You can, for right now, either one will work. There are going to be some times when you want to tell Swift that it has to be this value to avoid some mistakes and issues with your code. But for right now, that's just a simple way of inferring it. So right now, I think it'd be a good habit to just go ahead and put the type in there just to get used to it, and so that way you're having a real good idea of what those what those what your variable is, if it, or your constant, what the type is. And then as you get more experience there, you can probably start doing away with that. But always good practice there to be as specific and clear as possible. So that's just a quick overview on variables, constants, and then some of the different types that are going to be out there for you. So again, as always, bring questions to class if you have them. But again, this is a good starting off point here, and I appreciate you following along with me here.